I have a G Suite account for my business. I open it up. Didn't even say Dear Tom, didn't say anything like that. The first line was bolded. We are making important changes to G Suite. Below are some steps you will need to take to comply by June 1st. I didn't like it, but that's what needed to happen. Then it said 1, 2, 3, 4, the steps I needed to take to comply with it. As I began reading through it, I was like, I don't really think this applies to me. But I wanted to just delete it, but I couldn't because it said I needed to take action. And it was bold that I needed to do this by a certain time, and I needed to figure out there was something I actually needed to do. So I actually had to stop a second, and I couldn't do this later because I had to do it by June 1st. It's coming up. I had to stop and read the stupid instructions and figure it all out. And I went back to preparing my email training. And I go, man, that worked. From Google. Which I would have thought it was just like trying to get me to buy AdWords or something like they're typically trying to do. You know? I was like, that worked. And I realized that that is a training I had been giving when I trained this in the past. They were using a lot of the same things I trained on, but even more so, even more bold than I typically do. And that's what I want to show you today is that Google, just in case you didn't know, Google, Yahoo, people like that, email service providers, the largest email service providers on the planet, they get together once a year. They have a big conference, and all they talk about is the state of email today. Because if you think about it, they're our new postal service. Mm-hmm. So they get together and they talk. They talk about what junk is out there, what viruses are out there. They have a conversation about email, getting emails open, and they make decisions that affect all of us. They make decisions about where they're all going to take the industry. And it's really fascinating stuff. And when you see what they're doing, you can almost say they know what's effective and what's not. They've studied it more than anyone. And they're doing the stuff I'm talking about here today. But I really firmly believe, and I can prove it with other clients and other people, and myself and other people I'm working with that are doing this, this gets the responses we need. And again, it's all in that theme of emails should be instructions. Clear, concise instructions, and not a letter. So the first thing is, this is pretty obvious, you've heard this before, we want to start using a subject line that says action requested or needed or not. Don't abuse this. Not every subject line needs to say if there's action requested or not. Ideally, you're going to use this if truly an action is needed. Action requested could just be like, I'd like you to take action. Don't use it. If you just like them to take action, don't say action requested. That's implied in the email. It truly is informational with the hope that they'll take action. But if you really need them to take action, you could say action needed, or if you just want to be nicer, action requested. You could say action suggested. But if we really need them to take an action, we need to let them know. What I didn't put in here that I would like to add is we want to even say when they need to take the action by, even in the subject line. Action needed on or before June 1st. If and only if it's true. Don't become digital marketers where you start using this to twist people's arms because we just want a response quickly. You're not an authority over your clients. You understand that. At the same time, we don't want to be so gentle that they miss the instructions and now we've got a case on our hands. Action needed by on or before June 1st. Now that's not the whole subject line. The subject line might be server update / action needed on or before June 1st. A quick little nugget as to what the email is actually about is also needed, not just action needed only. Second best practice. This is really important. Narrate or give instructions for the email at the beginning. Right at the onset of what they start reading is going to tell them what they need to do. They cannot be reading the email figuring out what they need to do. We need to be telling them right from the very beginning what they need to do in the simplest of ways. Again, it's more like a recipe for baking a cake or for instructions after you come home from IKEA and you've got the box of wood than it is a letter. You see that? So what I want them to see when they open the email is below is this or that which will accomplish this or that for this or that purpose. This will take approximately this amount of time. When you open a recipe, that's what it says. You know, fudge brownies. time, 5 minutes, right? Items needed, instructions. So if I'm at a stoplight, I go, oh, this is for that thing, looks like I'm gonna need 5 minutes, looks like I'm gonna have to do this or that, okay. Now you can make it a little bit more eloquent, but what they need is that level of instruction. Does that make sense? I'm gonna give you some examples. We wanna bold or highlight vital info and actions needed. So if you've got an email that has 3 or 4 paragraphs, after you're done with the email, you can go back in and anything that would be an action word, you just bold that or highlight that. So if I was gonna skim your email and I skimmed only the bold, I would know the steps I was gonna take. I would know what's important. Vital is really the word. Vital things in bold. People will read the bold. And you'll actually train them to read the bold.
I've used that.
It works.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Remove anything that could be implied. In our last session, I had some pushback on this one. And I'm right there with you. Because this is one of the things that messes me up. I like to use amplifying language. I like to add some color to the things I write. I like to add some pizzazz. I like to overstate things, and I can't stop doing it. So when I send an email, I just write the way I would normally write. But then I go back in and I have this filter. It says remove everything that could be implied. This is what I mean by things that could be implied. Just wanted to take a few minutes to let you know about an upcoming update we have. What do you think could be removed from that?
Just wanted to know.
Yeah, just wanted to take a few minutes to let you know. There's an upcoming update that's important for you to know about. That would be better. Or there's an update tomorrow. That would be fine. Just wanted to take a few minutes, just wanted to check in, blah, blah, blah. Get to it. Why? Because everybody's just trying to do that. Whatever happened to niceties? We can be nice, but here's the problem. They're reading their email inbox like a to-do list, looking for instructions, need to know what I need to do, how soon I need to do it. They're trying to figure that out. Don't put that burden on them. This is what you need to do. It's going to take this long. This is when we need it by. What about niceties? We're going to get to that. But that's the information they need. Yes, sir.
Is that like an example, like sort of like that would be, sometimes I start emails like, I'm reaching out in regards to the case about this. Like, is that something?
I'm reaching out, I would delete.
Yeah, okay.
Of course
That's
you
an
are.
example.
It's implied,
Yeah.
right? This is in regards to case this. Then in bold, the following must be completed, or we're requesting you complete the following in order to resolve this case. And then bullet 1, bullet 2, or number 1, number 2, number 3. Make sense? Instructions. Separate the instructions from the rest. So sometimes we just got a lot of information we got to put in this. We're just legally liable, or there's just a lot of stuff we need to say. Where do we put it? We separate the email.